mine. Reading your stuff, you guys are on it, on it, on it.
It's exhausting. There's a lot going on.
Sarah, I don't know how you guys immerse yourself in it every day. I mean, we need people like you to do it, but I don't know how you're still sane and standing. Are you eating and sleeping okay?
You know what? Actually, I do get anxiety from the stuff that I'm immersed in every day. And I've had to really monitor myself and set up a lot of boundaries for how I'm going to participate and cover this stuff.
Good for you.
So I hope that everyone that is engaging and all of your listeners, that they can do that for themselves as well. It's so important right now because we can't stay in the fight if we are going to be overwhelmed emotionally. And, and it's either anxiety provoking, enraging. There's so many different ways that it comes at us, and that's deliberate. It's a psychological warfare tactic to get us to disengage so we don't pay attention to what's going on, and to get journalists to stop covering this stuff because it is so distressing. And there's a lot of issues with that with journalists. So I'm glad you brought that up because it is a problem. And so I've been very careful about how am I going to do this. And basically, I have to cut off. I will not be reading this stuff 2 hours before bed because, otherwise I can't sleep. I have nightmares and I'm, up all night. I'm sure that applies to a lot of people listening as well.
For sure. Because it's also very scary, right?
Yes.
A part of you feels like this can't be real life. We can't be living this. This can't be happening. And then you wake up the next day and it's still there.
Every day is a new way. And of course, again, that is deliberate. We are supposed to be scared. That's why, as we're watching these ICE raids, they come out and say, now we're going to go after dissidents too. We're going to go after critics. And it's obviously that's illegal. You don't have the right to do that. But that is about intimidation, right?
Sure.
It's to silence everyone who is, who objects, who dissents, who calls Congress, who goes out and protests, or just stands up for their neighbor, which we are seeing so much of that. And I find that spirit so heartening.
Yeah.
Right in this time.
It's the bright light in the darkness, for sure.
It is. That is so well said. That's exactly what it is. And it reminds me, this is who we are. This is what we're fighting for. And I don't feel so alone then when I'm covering this stuff, that I see these people are out there. They're putting themselves on the line. And because we know as journalists that he's going to come after us in some way, they did it the first term. They'll do it this term. I live in a Trump district, so I am,
God bless you.
When I'm just, I'm out there walking my dog and I'm thinking, how many of you are,
Yeah. We're also slightly paranoid too because of that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't even know. Is it paranoia or is it appropriate levels of awareness that a lot of people have lost their humanity and view their fellow citizens as enemies because we don't worship this cult leader that they worship, You're
right.
It
may not be paranoia. It may not be.
That would be, and if it isn't paranoia, that's even worse, right? no matter where we go, it gets worse in a way.
It does every day.
It does every day. Like today, so yesterday, they released the new compromise version of the National Defense Authorization Act. It was highly politicized during Obama years. I think every time there's a Democrat in office, this gets a lot of attention.
Sure. Yeah.
From folks. But then you notice we get Trump in office and nobody's paying attention to anything because there's so much, he's putting on such a show. Right. The reality show is so compelling. He's over here at the Kennedy Center accepting fake peace awards. And so people are not paying attention to this stuff. And I will say this is like a mixture of good and bad, but it's kind of surprising that, and we don't know if this is going to pass, but there was a measure in here that stood out to me, where they're trying to, Trump just released his new national security strategy, which is Kremlin endorsed.
Of course.
Of course, right? And so Congress is a little concerned, including some Republicans. And so here comes the NDAA, and they're trying to say, we're going to repeal these, the war authorization acts from the use of military force authorizations relating to Iraq. And so if that happens, that would be a good check on his power. But on the other hand, his people are out here, his Republicans are out here trying to give him a new authorization. So I guess I'm bringing this up because I hope people will engage with their Congress members. They're trying to bring up a new authorization for military force for these Caribbean strikes. So he can just go after anyone they've labeled, a narco terrorist.
So they can just go and kill more people.
Yes, which they do, as we know right now, without evidence that these people are actually engaged in what they claim they are. And if we look at what they've done with ICE and how repeatedly in courts all around the country, they have been found, and Department of Homeland Security, to be lying.
Yep.
They have literally lied in court so often to justify their use of violence and their escalation of force that that now, I think it would be a mistake for anyone to take their claims seriously. We have to see, of course, you shouldn't take that from anyone. We don't take that from any president or any leader without proof, right? Even when we trust them, for some reason, we don't take their word on it.
I know.
Because a good president will show you that proof.
Yeah.
So why are they hiding it?
Here's the thing. The collateral damage that's being left behind with all of these people being locked up and deported, not even to places that they can even speak the language, is so harmful to me that, these people will be changed forever. And in the midst of us trying to fix it, these people are still suffering. And it's all bad. I can't even begin to imagine being afraid to walk down the street because I might get snatched up. And it's a possibility for me, because I'm an old Black woman. So they're looking for brown people.
They are, and that I can't imagine. I honestly, I'm really glad you brought this up, because I'll be honest, when I cover I like to cover these ICE stories. I think they're so important, and I like to document what is happening. But I try to space it out for people because it's so disturbing.
Yeah,
it's so
really is.
Traumatizing. And so what you're talking about, so the fear of people who, including people, not everybody's feelings about this matter, and they're all different, right? But there's people who are citizens like yourself that there's no reason for you to have there should be no reason for you to even be thinking that.
Right.
And yet it is a reality that you now have to think in your own country. I have to worry about myself, my family, my, children, anyone that you care about, going to the grocery store, going to school, they're gassing, kids walking home from school. It is horrifying to me. I do burst into tears when I'm covering these. How can you not? You watch the video, you hear these cries, and not only these children going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives over this, that there's no way they can't be.
Sarah, I have too. I have cried too. I want to cry now. I've been so affected by it, because to me it's so terrifying that you can walk down the street and your loved one is gone and you don't know where they are. You can't call them. You don't know who to call. They can't call you. The whole thing is just so unimaginably cruel to me. It's just evil. It's another evil thing that's happening.
Evil, and they're doing that on purpose. to punish and frighten people.
Yeah.
The way that you can't find where these people have been taken and their own lawyers can't track them down. That's not what happens in a free country. And I like to make this point because I do live in this Trump district. So I get into these conversations with people a lot who support all of this. And I like to ask them, so you don't value due process. That is like what this country is based on.
Yeah.
One of the founding principles of any free country is due process.
Yeah.
And it's a basic human right.
Mm-hmm.
So this country, you would like this country to be not only not a global leader, but a country of shame, a country that other countries look down on, you know? And we see that happening right now with this realignment he's doing, aligning himself with Russia and other authoritarians and leaving Europe in the dust and leaving them to fend off Putin on their own. And, you know, even the Republicans in Congress, many of them see what he's doing and they're trying to stop him in this NDAA. They're trying to say you can't reduce the troops in Europe beyond a certain amount because he's trying to do that to give Putin a free reign to go terrorizing them. So all of this is deliberate, right? It's to say that he is going to be this kind of authoritarian leader that can't be questioned. And that is why the fear that we all feel for different reasons, that is deliberate. And then to counter that, we have all of these Americans standing up and saying, I'm not going to be quiet while you do this.
Yeah.
And I am going to defend people. And honestly, that has to come from white people right now.
Thank you, Sarah.
They are the people of privilege, you know, and that's the job that we have to show up and do because, and I remember reading this about the civil rights fight. You know, it's horrible that this is the way things are, but these are the realities. You know how in true crime they say if a pretty white woman is missing, everyone cares.
Oh yeah,
because that sells all the papers,
Amber Alerts,
right? So,
and everything. Yeah,
exactly. And so there has been an effort to, you know, change that. But we all know that this is the reality, and we saw this in the civil rights fight in the 60s. And now I noticed when I did an ICE article about, I don't know, last week at some point about them grabbing a child, a woman. I think there were 3. It's so traumatizing that I've, you know, tried to forget about it. But
sure.
The thing that stood out to me this time was one of the people they grabbed was this white woman, this small white woman who was a citizen. And they grabbed her in this way, and it just felt like sexual assault watching it. It was like a gang rape of kinds, because it's like 3 to 4 masked men who are armed, grabbing her out of her car for no reason. They claim she wouldn't show her ID. I highly doubt they found her ID in the car, so like clearly she had it.
Yeah.
And if she had, I just don't understand, like, why would she? I don't believe I would need to see evidence that she, you know, did something to justify this.
Well, you know she didn't. You know she didn't.
Yes, exactly. And also, right, there is no justification. But one of the things that I think is interesting is they let her go after an hour or two. And you know what? They don't want people to see that. They don't want their own base to see that, because that is the white blonde woman that they claim is their base. And that she's an American citizen. They don't want them to see that, because that starts to eke into, if they can do it to her, they're going to come for me. And that's not, you know, it's very sad that these people are, they've been trained almost like,
have they?
Pavlov's. I think they've been trained to hate, right?
They came there hateful, though. That's
Yeah.
why they got the job.
Oh, for sure. I was talking about his base, but yes, the ICE people. I mean, I think that there's a lot of ways that the kind of person who would even apply for that job is already leaning towards psychopathy and or great incompetence. And I actually just read a paper. I was going to write about this, about how people who make up these those sorts of forces for an authoritarian leader are often this great incompetence and a lot of sociopathy. Like, just it's not a great combination. But of course, who else is going to go do that?
Right.
Who else is going? These men, and there's some women on there too. But the hatred they have, the contempt for freedom and for other people's rights. It's disgusting to watch. It's like watching. It is watching abuse. It's watching assault.
Yep. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Sarah, I have a question I want to ask you. So recently, I feel like it's been happening the whole time, but I think maybe now it's been magnified because it's happened so many times back to back, and that's DT and his treatment of female reporters. Or journalists. So, the Miss Piggy and are you dumb? Are you stupid? You too. These separate situations that have happened to these female reporters. I've been having discussions with friends about, because I'm hearing, especially on other podcasts that I listen to, that the reason why nobody spoke up for these women, their other colleagues, was because they didn't want to lose access to DT. My contention is, lose access to what? Because he lies all the time. Why do they care that they're in his presence? Can you make me understand why this is happening?
The reason you can't understand this, Michelle, is because you have integrity.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Because I hate to just put it out there, but that's what it is. And it took me a long time. In fact, I think one of the things that's been so difficult, so challenging for me, is a lot of the people that I used to be on the little special list for under President Biden. So I got to cover all their administrative, the administration's doing a policy change. They hold a Zoom, and certain reporters get access to that. And so I got to hear, and I would see a lot of these folks, not the folks that are most of the people are not there now covering him, but because, I think it's the people that actually cared about policy that were there. And Donald Trump represents power and fame for the people who cover him. And that's what he did the first term. That's how he got reelected. The media wanted him back because they sell books. If you get access to him, you sell a book, you get to be made a media star. Look at Caitlin Collins. Look at Maggie Haberman.
Is that really where we are?
This is exactly where we are. This is how we got here, because Joe Biden would not play that game.
Yeah.
And, Obama did not play that game either. We certainly didn't give them the clown show that Trump does. Trump gives them the reality show. If you stand up to him, or you look like you're standing up to him, but behind the scenes, you're open always for his story, and you get it might look like criticism in what you're reading or what you're listening to, but it's actually a lot of times the story he wants out there.
Yeah.
This is why I keep trying to tell people, it's not the show. Mm-hmm. Don't take the rage bait. Don't be part of the show. This is how he got elected again. These people want him in there because he makes them money. He gives them fame. Everybody's paying attention right now. They didn't pay attention when Biden was in office, and he was getting so much done, but they didn't pay attention because it wasn't a clown show. There wasn't the opportunity for them to, cover him and put on a little show of standing up to him for a second and then become famous and write a book. So, or, asking a question, or getting the inside scoop on the drama in the court, because that's what this is. He's holding a royal court, and all the dramas that go on, the infighting, all of that sells stories, that sells books, it sells eyeballs. You're watching cable news, you're watching this, you're watching that because of those things. And if you look at the people who are doing this job well right now, I would say my favorite person on, on cable news right now is probably Lawrence O'Donnell, because he knows
he's the
what's
real
going
one.
on.
Yeah.
He's real, and he keeps it real, and he knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
So he is not out here trying to sell drama. He's out here trying to educate people. And that is a value.
Also, Lawrence doesn't need the money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of them, like, Anderson Cooper doesn't need the money.
No.
That's
true.
All these people, they're making even when they don't come from huge wealth, they're making so much money. Yeah. They don't need,
So, Sarah, what you're saying is we're all pawns in this game of greed?
Yeah, we're if you're engaged in the drama and you're engaged with people that are selling it, and there are people, it's mostly people on the right that have access to him and that are able to do that, or they lean right, which I think, to define that in this day and age is just, putting yourself first, right?
Yeah.
If that's what you're doing, then that's Trumpism. That has infected everything. But I do see even people on the left, and this is like a lot of creators, even, what is the word of the year? It was rage bait.
Oh,
it just came out last week. And I've been writing about rage bait for so long, and I keep talking about it because it's the thing that keeps people engaged and looking at the drama instead of, and emotionally, being manipulated by stuff instead of where we would hope things to be.
Yeah. Sarah, I could talk to you for hours and hours. This has been educational and enjoyable, but we got to go.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. And it was so great to meet you.
Richard, tell people how to find you. And everybody needs to sign up for their newsletter. But go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm on The Daily with Sarah Jones, which is on Substack, and also Politicus USA. So there's two different newsletters. They do different things, but so we would love to have your support. And I also just want to say thank you for sharing the feelings that you shared. And I'm sending you all the protection and care I can muster up. So
I appreciate
I appreciate you just putting that out there and being willing to share that. So
of course, I'm just, I do it too much. But anyway, thank you, Sarah. We need you out here in the field. You are a true warrior and an ally. So thank you. Thank you.